This guy has more hustle than a honey badger in a hot dog factory, a whirlwind of wit and wisdom, and a veritable veteran of video games with his passion for Super Smash Bros. And Balatro. He's a stud business developer at Avalanche, and he's built like an ox big enough to carry Web3 gaming on his back, and Lord knows do we need him. He's the Sultan of Smash. It's Big Wills.
I like the honey badger reference. That's a little rugby law for anyone who wants to get into that. But fuck yeah, Sam, doing a great job.
Big hugs, buddy. Great to see you this past week at the Den. And up next, from furious firefights to flourishing fields of future forward development, this individual has forged a fascinating, formidable path, planting the seeds of Glitter Cloud Solutions, a consultancy crafted to catalyze and cultivate the very core of blockchain gaming. From consulting catalyst, it's the king of the kill streak, the ultimate hype man. It's Dub.
Yo, freaking great to be here. I'm still in the woods. I'm not leaving the woods. I keep extending it. I just live here now. So looking forward to GDC next year being 30 minutes north of me.
Dude, I need the link because your boy has never found woods with that good of internet. But you're on all these calls. You were there this morning on the creator call.
I'm on Starlink, bro. I'm streaming. I'm going to be on the wild card. We decided, fuck it. Let's do it from the woods. I got the suit here. I'm putting a suit on in the woods. It's a weird life.
Let's go, dude. Enjoy yourself out there. And up next, he's the guy that turns the complex chaos into clean, clear solutions. He's the rock star of reeling in the unruly from esports pros to crypto bros. And he's the Michael Jordan of clicking digital trees, becoming RuneScape royalty. Welcome to the panel. It's the one who walks the walk and knocks the knock. It's Knock.
Yo, I'm going to shill a game super early this week. Mullet Mad Jack. It is fucking chaotic. You got to play it.
Mullet Mad Jack. Dude, if I took all of your advice on Steam shitters that I should be playing, I would have $0 left in my bank account.
Dude, it's free on Game Pass. It's like a 2.5 hour long game. You have 10 seconds per stage. Every time you kill something, you get longer life. It's fucking wild. It's like ADHD in a video game.
Perfect for 2025. Up next, he dares to delve into the depths of the taboo, forging narratives that blaze trails where others fear to tread. He's the mind behind My Angry Yakuza Girlfriend and Peking Duck Studios, a visionary who paints pixels with passion and ignites imaginations with incendiary ideas. He's also a culinary commander and a master of the meats, grilling with the same ferocity he brings to his game. He's a man of many talents, a titan of taste and taboo, and a true Renaissance rebel. Welcome to the panel from Meiji. You know it's Senjang.
Woof, woof. Nobody goes hungry. Never. And I see Croissant in the audience. Croissant, you can always touch my meat anytime. Get on the grill with me, baby.
Sinjin's banned.
You can't keep doing this. No more.
Banned from
Sinjin.
Any more meat references from you for the rest of the episode. I did the Nobody Goes Home Hungry. Never was one of my favorite clips of the entire week, though, so shout out for that. And up next, he's a master of metrics and a wizard of web traffic, a connoisseur of both conversations and conversions. Working with Uptick, he's the architect of audience engagement, the sculptor of social strategies, the conductor of compelling campaigns. And you've witnessed his rise from golden fraud to golden god right here on Gamified. It's Jerry, the Golden God Singer.
What's up? Happy to meet all of you guys here. Somebody tell Kevin I'm no longer speaking with him. So if Kevin ever addresses me, somebody please repeat his points. He and I, our friendship is over.
What's the backstory here? Is it the tournament, the invitational?
No, Sam. I'm happy that you won that. I'm very, very proud of you for that. Kevin DM'd me and asked me for a favor about to vet somebody, and then I promptly responded, which doesn't always happen to people who DM me. And then I DM'd him something, and he just didn't respond.
It's because you hired that person after you told him to, and they sucked.
It's probably on Telegram. I so rarely, my Telegram foo is terrible. I'm so sorry. I'll get your friendship back. I'll win it. I promise.
This is
Jerry.
like 4 weeks
Jerry, he said that he would get your friendship back. He promises it's probably on Telegram. He's very bad at Telegram.
I hate you guys so much. I hate that this is becoming a thing where you guys out each other's DMs on the show to try and manipulate each other to respond to each other. It's so weird, man. It's so weird. Just pass each other a note during math class in the second grade like everybody else. Up next, with a flick of the wrist and a flash of ink, he turned his back on the boardroom when he tattooed his hand to burn the boats on the corporate life. He's a constant collector not only of memorabilia but of game projects, a co-founder of Sanctuary, Colony, Parallel, and Wayfinder. The Web3 games, sorry, I went out of order there. One of those was Game of the Year a while ago. Anyway, it's the Parallel Pack Rat, the manager of the Mosh Pit, and the giver of GPUs as the unofficial office supplier of Gamified. Koji, I love you. Welcome to the panel.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully I'm coming through clear. I'm in my car. I'm on the way back from the video store, actually, speaking of collections. We still have video stores in Toronto. Happy to be here.
That's insane, given the rant or the rent there. And I guess I have to also add communicator between Jerry and Kevin Lambert, since you're filling the walkie-talkie role for the rest of the episode, I'm sure. Up next, we're talking, this man's juggled millions like they're flaming bowling pins, budgets that would make a dragon sweat gold, and a personality that could ignite a supernova. He's not just a titan of Twitch where he commanded a $100 million budget like a pyrotechnic performance. He's a full-blown inferno in the Web3 gaming scene. Prepare yourself for a personality that can melt your motherboard, the incendiary innovator, the human flamethrower. It's Big Tony V.
Let's go. Excited to be here, boys. Thanks for having me up here, guys.
Tony down bad with an illness, but still making space for us. Appreciate you, brother. And up next, he's worked on games that have brought the worlds of Game of Thrones, Star Trek, The Walking Dead, and Archer to interactive life. But he's not just a master of adaptation. He's a problem solver, a platform pioneer, a champion for creative freedom. For the past 5 years, he's dedicated his expertise to Beamable, a revolutionary infrastructure platform designed to unshackle game designers from the tedious technicalities and let them return to their true passion, crafting captivating experiences. He's the facilitator of fun, a champion of creative control. From Beamable, it's John Radoff.
Sam, thanks so much. That was awesome. You know, when the great mystery of these intros is like, you got to listen carefully, because I'm like, is that me? I'm not sure if that's going to be me. And then, okay, this was easy because you mentioned Game of Thrones early on, so I was like, oh, okay, that can only be me this time. So appreciate it. But what I wanted to do is just honor the Wolf's Den from last week. I met so many people. I think made some lifelong friendships there, and even booked a couple of you into my live streams that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to have Sinjin on, because I couldn't get enough of that guy. I'm just going to wind him up and let him go for an hour, and I'm going to stand back and let him just run with it. Like, whatever you want to talk, Sinjin, like don't even listen to my questions. Just talk about whatever you want.
Thanks, John, for letting me fuck myself even more on the internet.
Wait, hold on, Sam. We can't out each other's DMs, but these guys can fall in love in front of us.
And we're gonna have Kevin on too in an upcoming one. So I'll post the schedule soon.
Jerry won't be tuning in for that.
Yeah, have fun with him not saying anything the whole time.
I'm proud to be a matchmaker, less proud to be a snitch, Jerry. Okay, lock it in, bro. Tighten it up. Okay. John, absolutely awesome doing an interview with you at the Wolves Den. Also, you were on that episode last week at Gamified Live, which was just really cool. So thanks so much for that. Excited to have you back again this week. And up next, for 27 years, this coding colossus has been crafting captivating worlds, from the hells of Dungeon Siege to the sanctuaries of Solitaire. A game so popular it was inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame in 2019. A contemporary competition with his recently revealed project at the Wolves Den, by the way, Project O, with their invitational. From Coin Games and Project O, we have Kevin Lambert.
Yo, what is up? Coding Colossus, man, that's a throwback. I haven't written a line of code since my dev days, like 25 years ago, but I was able to hello world in my day. It was good. And I did enjoy some of Sinjin's meat at the event. He can make a mean dog. I'm going to leave it right there.
I think I can speak for Sinjin right now and say, Kevin, you can touch Sinjin's meat anytime you want. Last but not least, he's the slithering sensation from the splendid space of the Lizard Labs, weighing in at 2.4 pounds, the lean green space hosting machine, the small scale star that's set to stun. Put your claws together for the Little Lizard Legend, Lambs.
GM, man, you guys are making me tired listening to you with all of your energy. Like, I don't know how you guys have such energy after the event. I'm still like down bad here. I blame Koji for, poisoning us and bringing some sickness to the den. So I'm just going to out you there. Koji is, anyone who's sick, you can just blame Koji.
I
thought we weren't snitching. Well, this guy just dry snitched on Koji super hard.
Now, Koji was back in action by the time he made it to the den. He was down bad shortly before it. Yeah, but there was definitely some spreaders there. You know who you are. But we'll leave that for another day. Get ready to howl with excitement as we welcome the Alpha, bringing the blizzard of benefits with a flurry of fantastic games. You know I'm talking about Avalanche, the leader of the blockchain blizzard, the one and only official chain of gamified. Wolf and the Wolves DAO are en route to the chain known for its frosty and formidable L1s to dive into the firefights of Off the Grid, conquer the competition in Shadowline, or enjoy the nostalgic world of MapleStory. So why aren't you? I know we have a MapleStory live stream coming up on Friday. So if you haven't put that in the calendars, make sure you do. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern from the Wolves DAO account. And gamers, get ready to go gaga for Game 7, the gaming giant that's giving growth a gigantic boost. They're not just building bridges, they're blasting through barriers with brilliant blockchain breakthroughs. With Summon, they're conjuring the secret sauce to keep players glued to your game. And with Hyperplay, they're hyping up the portal to instant Web3 access with no friction, just fun. Thanks to them for being the official infrastructure of Gamified. And get ready to blast off with Star Atlas, the official game of Gamified, and its sensational preseason spectacular. Right now, you can plunge into a galaxy of captivating content, explore exotic exoplanets, engage in exhilarating expeditions, and experience evolution of gaming graphics that'll redefine the cosmos. Get a game key to the preseason by joining the Star Atlas Discord today. All right, guys, I'm giving you a layup. I'm giving you a layup for the first topic today. Over, under, okay? CS2, Counter-Strike 2 breaks CSGO's record for concurrent players. They just hit 1.82 million, which breaks it just by a hair, The previous was 1.81 million from CSGO. So CS2 making strides, but it's still only the quote-unquote fourth ranked, quote-unquote only ranked fourth in the all-time rankings behind PUBG, Black Myth Wukong, and Palworld. PUBG has the all-time record with 3.2 million concurrents, almost doubling up CSGO's new record. So over under 12 months before PUBG has their record broken. So over under 12 months before 3.2 million players are concurrent in another game. Lems, I'm sending it to you first, bud.
I just know PUBG has held this record for years, so I'm going to say under. I think someone will beat it eventually. Maybe a banger comes out in the next 12 months and rips it, but like even seeing Black Myth Wukong and Palworld there was really interesting because those were just like such viral successes when they came out and just single player, right? Like they weren't PvP. It's interesting to see Counter-Strike kind of creeping up on them. But man, like PUBG holds such a big record that I think something will beat it in the future, but I'm under on the next 12 months.
I'm going to give everybody a little tidbit out there too. Number 10 is painful to look at. It is the banana clicker game. Number 10, 917,000 concurrents. The banana clicker game. Jesus Christ, send Web2 gaming to zero. Up next, let's send it over to T-Valk.
Yeah, I am well, under means, does under mean I don't think it's going to happen in the next 12 months, or over mean I don't think it's going to happen in the next 12 months?
Over means you think it's going to take more than 12 months in order for this record to be broken.
Oh, way over. I'm talking like I'm over. I'm long on this, right? I think that actually this record isn't going to be broken until we change the way we measure these things, because I think that the place where the next time there is the largest concentration of gamers ever is actually going to be in a Roblox, Minecraft, UEFN, like something that is currently generating a bazillion MAUs and is going to hit an IP vein that inflects and hits and makes it hit those heights. But that's my take, is that the next time that happens, it's going to be because we changed the way we measure this thing.
Interesting. He thinks we're going to shift around the record books. Need to add an asterisk to that one. Shout out to Wilt Chamberlain. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry, Tony's taking the long here. Are you?
Well, Kevin, what side are you on? I'll take the opposite. I'm just kidding. I'll let it go, Kevin. I'm going to go under, because what's going to ship this holiday season? Grand Theft Auto, baby. It's going to take over the fucking world. Nobody else is going to ship. I think this holiday season is going to be kind of a wash. And I think people are going to push to like Q1 of next year for big releases. All because, you got the evil empire lurking, which is Rockstar Games and GTA. I think GTA comes, and I will put it at a healthy break, 4 million.
Wow, healthy 4 milli. But this is only Steam players, I presume. I don't think they're checking the charts anywhere else.
Then that changes everything. Then it's over, and it's going to be a long fucking time.
He agrees with me.
Yeah,
He agrees with me.
Tony, we're back. Yeah, I'm on Tony's team. I'm long, man. I'm long all day. It's gonna if it's Steam only, this record's gonna stay in place for a while. I'm way over 12 months.
Wow. Yeah, you have to wonder. I don't know what this PUBG release looked like whenever they did it to get this kind of number. It's absolutely staggering. Let's tag in Big Koji next. Koji over under 12 months, 3.2 million concurrent.
I'm gonna go under, although my heart tells me it might be over, but just by like it's gonna be so fucking close. If a game like Power World, and no shade to Power World, but like if a game like Power World can do it, I think that like we're underestimating the ability for some game that's not even on the horizon to grab the zeitgeist and everyone to be like, fuck, well, I gotta try it, right? And like Wukong, I mean, it was on the horizon, but same sort of thing. It's like nobody expected those kind of numbers. People are starving for a shared experience, like a true shared like water cooler experience. Hey, did you try this thing? And I think that like even if a game like, you know, it might just be for a weekend or whatever, but I could see it happening. Like, you know, some game comes out of nowhere, everyone's like, yo, try this game, it's sick. You know, it's like, you know, like Knock with ADD in a game or whatever. It just like captures everyone's attention, and we'll all try it. You know, we're all gonna try it, and maybe we'll be done with it within a week. But I think there'll be a game that'll break those numbers because, like I said on the previous show, there are new gamers made every day.
Yeah, I shamelessly bought Pal World and played it for like 3 hours. And in my head, I still remember being like, I'm definitely going to play this for more than 3 hours. And I still, it's at 3 hours. Let's go over to Kevin Lambert, double tag and Knock.
Look at you guys and your cute little Steam records of 1.8 million concurrent players. I am pretty sure that Solitaire smashed that, although nobody talked about it because it was on Windows and mobile and your grandma was the one behind the computer at the time. But man, that's a tough one. I don't see anything like coming up that I'm like, maybe GTA has a shot, but I kind of think what Koji said, it's going to be a game that like comes out of nowhere and we're like, oh my God, we all have to play that. You know, can it sustain those numbers? I don't know, but like I feel like we're all waiting for something else to love and adore in games, and I do see it being broken for sure. It's a when, not an if, and man, that's a tough one. I guess I'll take the optimistic glass half full side and say under.
Wow. All right. We're pretty split on the panel here. And Kevin, you perfectly laid it up to the next panelist who loves a good mom game. Let's send it to Knock.
Yeah, it's over. There's like a next to 0% chance that this gets broken in the next 12 months. Even with GTA on the horizon, like you would have to assume that everybody who plays GTA on opening weekend only plays it on Steam for this to even get close to breaking this record. Like you're starting to see less and less dominance of Steam. There are more platforms and more launchers showing up. People are playing games in different ways. People are playing the games that they've been playing for longer than they've ever played those games. I don't think we ever see like a 3.8 or 4 million peak concurrent on Steam again. Like I would not be surprised if in 5 years from now this record still hasn't broken on Steam. I think you're going to see more people play on other platforms, and I think the PUBG record, which by the way is now held for 7 years, will not get broken. I just don't see it happening.
Wow. Yeah, Knox says dilution is the enemy. Just a couple of more numbers for context here. Black Myth Wukong, 2.4 million. So they're about 800,000 off. Pal World hit 2.1 million. I think this is the best case against or I guess for it potentially being broken, because Pal World seemingly came out of nowhere. If they had done a more concentrated marketing push right around the release and had more players in at the same time before they kind of washed out, I think maybe they could have approached 3 million, but because it was more word of mouth, I think they had a little bit of a delay there. Let's go over to Sinjin and see what he thinks, and we'll tag in Dub.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this over-under thing, but it's too early in the morning for me to figure that out. But I don't think they're going to break it. I think what people forget is that when PUBG came out, it was fucking like awesome. Like it was it was just such a massive innovation in terms of what happened. And to Nog's point, that was like 7 years ago. And same thing, Pal World, Pokemon with guns. I mean, the nostalgia and what people really wanted to kind of see and stuff like that. You need that kind of innovative game, and Black Wukong was just fucking awesome as well. I mean, having that like IP out there in terms of the Monkey King out there was fucking fantastic. So yeah, I don't think this record is going to be broken unless we have like some fucking phenomenal game that just is just so new and so innovative that just blows people's minds.
There's a new game that just hit number 5 on this list for concurrent players. If anybody on the panel can tell me without cheating, I'll give you bonus points in my head. Dub, over to you. Then we're tagging in John.
Yeah, dude. First of all, Sam, you're clearly leveling up on the banter, and I'm fucking all for it, dude. Super proud of you. But everyone else is a dumbass. Like, you guys, it's right in front of us. Like, fucking Yuga is going to break this thing. For whatever reason, Yuga thinks the best marketing for them right now is breaking world records. And they just beat the FPS one. So, of course, they're going after this one next. And they'll fucking cheat their way to beat it no matter what. So, like, yeah, I mean, three months, 2 months, whatever's on their marketing timeline, it's already there and it's in play. So just watch and you'll see. It's probably the number 5 currently on that spot too.
That's a wild take, bro. Thanks for the compliment, though. John, over to you. Then we're tagging in Michael from Andromeda.
I'm going under because if this was on a prediction market, and it probably should, I'd love to take a position on the prediction markets on this. That is going to be one hell of a return because all you fuckers are going to say that it can't be done. But here's the reality of the internet and games. So Steam, going by memory here, I think the peak concurrency is like 40 million or something like that, or something close to that. So it wouldn't actually require a massive percentage of the peak concurrency of Steam overall to hit those kind of numbers that we're talking about. So games always surprise you. The game industry has surprised me as long as I've been in it. And Pal World was just a year ago. Hey, anything can happen this year.
Great points from John. One more thing to kind of catapult off of that. Black Myth Wukong, I think $60 on release. Power World, I think like 10 or $15 on release. And these are 2 and 3. If one of those goes free to play, you're telling me that they can't get another million players that end up breaking this record? Knock slams the thumbs down. Knock, tell me why.
Because 10% doesn't seem like a big number until you compare it to all of the other big numbers and realize that 10% is significantly more concurrent players than have ever been achieved by any title. Print out a picture of GTA 6 and eat it and post it on the timeline. If GTA 6 breaks this record, it's not going to happen.
Clip it. Clip it.
Yeah, fucking Phil, clip that and send it to me. Post it so everybody can see.
Okay.
Eat it, Knock.
But you would have said that. You would have said that 5 days before Power World came out too, and then they still got 2.1 million players.
Yeah, but you know what they didn't do, Sam? They didn't break the fucking record. I don't care about second place or third place. We're talking about, can you usurp a record that has been held for 7 years on a title that is going to be primarily played on console? Not a fucking chance.
Okay, real quick, Knock. I don't want to get stuck on this, but then let's move the goalposts on you. What's the likelihood over under 2.1 million, which is Power World's record in third place, but also 300,000 more than Counter-Strike 2?
I think that's probably a better likelihood. I still think like you're gonna see probably 4 or 5 million concurrent across console players and every other platform. I don't have any doubt that GTA 6 is going to be one of the biggest games that's ever released. But even 2 million players PC first on a GTA title seems a little like unrealistic for me.
All right, I respect the takes. Let's go to Jerry, and then we're going to Spangler before we move on.
Yeah, I actually would have thought. I would have thought that Knock was a big fan of finishing second and third place, knowing his sports fandom and the MVPs he's lost to me. But I think the caveat here is the handheld, right? Is the Steam Deck, and can they get this thing cheaper for like the hardware cycle? And then the other caveat, so there's 2 things, is Deadlock and when that's going to ship and what they want to do with it. And if that ships as a premium title or if that's a free-to-play title. And if it is a premium title, does that come free with like a Steam Deck? Do they put some big promotion behind it? I think that is the shot for them breaking the record is, and I misunderstood the question when I was talking about GTA, so I apologize on that. But I think if Deadlock ships soon, obviously they want to crush Marvel Rivals, and Valve wants like another first-party title in that spot. So I think that's your path. It's deadlock, and it's can they get the hardware cheaper in time for the holiday cycle, and does the economy pick up a little bit more where people are willing to spend, $400 or $500 on a Steam Deck? Because if you can get this thing on handheld and it's a point where everybody can afford it, and it's a replacement to like a Switch or anything like that, then I think they actually have a pretty good shot at it. But that's the only shot.
I just want to say Half-Life 3 is also coming, so keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Put that in your back pocket.
I raised my hand. I was going to be polite, but now I'm not. I was going to say exactly the same shit. Gabe is the fucking video game, George R. Martin, and that shit's never going to happen that Jerry just said.
Steam Deck has 38 minutes of battery life, so it's also not going to come through the fucking Steam Deck.
Hey, guys, there's one huge thing that everybody's been missing that I'm very surprised no one talked about is Xbox is integrating Steam into their consoles.
Oh.
So I'm going to smash the over button because you're not only just having PC players that are going to be in this, you're going to actually get some console players because Steam is going to be fully integrated with Xbox. I understand it's just a rumor now, but the rumor came from Xbox itself. They revealed the UI screen that they weren't supposed to that showed a clear section for Steam games. So all of you guys and all of your takes are living at least 14 days ago before this news broke or these rumors broke. But if this happens, I'm going to smash that over button because now you're combining Steam's audience with Xbox's audience, and that's going to, in my opinion, smash through all of these records that we've seen before.
Don't you mean under?
No, it's going to break the record. Sorry, I missed the initial question, but
yeah,
I'm gonna say
it is a little bit of a double negative there. I'll forgive it, but Michael, great alpha, indicating a different approach to the problem solving here. Thanks so much for that. Spang, over to you. You taking the over the under 12 months?
Yeah, I'm gonna remain hopeful, and I'm gonna give an under because I think. And this is based off what we saw at GDC, because I think we're in a really interesting, because if you look at PUBG, we are still living in the era that PUBG created. The era of battle royales have defined the last decade of gaming. And I think that's what it's going to take to break this record, something genre bending, something, decade defining. And to be quite honest, the kind of low vibes from the Web 2 side of GDC have me almost excited that people are going to start trying some crazy shit. There are people out there who are going to be making some crazy little games that we can't even fathom and don't even fall on the kind of the genre release spectrum that we're thinking about at the moment. So I'm hopeful that we're going to see the next decade of gameplay defined in the next 12 months, and I hope that will break that shot.
I'm gonna take a stance here, which I rarely do. I'm gonna smash the under as well. I think virality is just different than it's ever been before. We just saw a video on Twitter get like 550 million views just on Twitter, and that thing moved to all the other platforms and got hundreds of millions of views all over the other platforms in 48 hours as well. You're telling me if a game doesn't have some insanely viral mechanic that it can't absolutely crush this number? I refuse to believe it, especially again if it's free to play, especially again if it's integrated into Xbox and other platforms. But great discussion, guys. Way to kick off the show. Sentiment score is up next, and this one came from the top ropes. It got me super, super, super excited as a diehard lover of Game Informer, in solidarity with my boy Will Spangler, who bought a 2-year subscription 6 months ago, right before they went out of business. Gunzilla Games is acquiring Game Informer. The studio behind Off the Grid announced yesterday that they were buying it and rehiring the entire team. They said 100% of the team from the studio that shut down. I don't know how it's possible that none of them got other jobs, but that's what they said, 100%. Shout out. You love to see it. Brian Shea, their executive editor, says, quote, "Everything you loved about Game Informer before is coming back, but we're rethinking it and evolving it to be bigger and better. All of it is coming back, including an all-new approach to Game Informer magazine, both in print and in digital forms. You love to see it," unquote. We talked about this on the show at the time whenever they shut down, and there was some mixed opinions from the nostalgia of reading it growing up to those saying it was inevitable to shut down due to the legacy media outlet just not being sustainable anymore. So do you think this was the right play for Gunzilla? And what is your sentiment score on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you feel about it? 1 being, this is a terrible move. 10 being, this is the penultimate amazing thing that they could do to get this under their belt as a company. I'm going to go to Big Will Spangler first.
Let's go, boys. 125. That is my sentiment score, and that sounds a little high, but I'm gonna walk through this. Okay, so one, you have brand recognition, and that is absolutely huge. This gives us a seat as Web3, as a space. This gives us a seat at the table with traditional gaming journalism, which you can argue on the merits of, but is a part of the flywheel. When you go and look up guides, it's the first thing that players see. And one of the biggest problems that has remained almost completely unaddressed in the space is the Web 2 gamers' disdain for Web 3 across the board. And I think this is an answer to that. How do you beat the media when the media is constantly and relentlessly attacking you? You become the media. And that's exactly what I think this is. I think it gives us an opportunity to become, it gives us an outlet that isn't going to be completely biased against Web3. And look, I do want to be conscious of all of the reasons that Game Informer shut down, because it did. But if there is a team in the space that can figure out a way to keep this going, I think it's Gunzilla. And I don't know what they're going to do that, but I'm really excited to see. And I think it's an absolutely huge move for the space.
This does have shades of Bezos acquiring the Washington Post, but I don't hate it. Let's go over to Dub next.
Yeah, man, I'm so damn conflicted. I've never liked Off the Grid because they were competitors, and I just don't jive with the team. I'm giving this a 5. Like, it's a Chad move, but it's like you said, it's like Bezos buying the freaking thing. Like, I don't think Web 2 people reading this are going to be super stoked when they find out that it's like, oh, this Web 3 company bought this media thing to shill Web 3 to us. We'll see how it goes. If it can still be profitable, I hope so. I hope they can make it work. But at the same time, I feel like this is just evil and brilliant at the same time. So, fucking send it, I guess.
Brilliant and evil. Interesting take there. Let's go to Knock.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. A lot to unpack here. One, there's a reason why this platform and most other traditional gaming media have died over the last few years, and it's largely because outside of what this panel would like to believe, nobody consumes this type of content anymore. Even new age or relatively new age gaming media outlets like Rooster Teeth and Kind of Funny have struggled, shut down, re-announced that they're coming back, shut down again. It's really difficult to be organized media in gaming, and I think anybody who's worked in that space understands just how difficult that is. I had the opportunity in 2017 or 2018 as part of a JV to sort of scoop up Sports Illustrated gaming. And when we dove into what that actually looked like, there was almost no path to profitability even then in 2018. We're 6 years removed from that, or 7 years removed from that. Gaming consumers have gotten further and further away from things like written media. And today, people aren't looking at written guides for how things operate. They're watching a 30-second TikTok on how this week's Fortnite challenges. That's the way that most of gaming news is being distributed today. So I think it's a good move because I think the team at Gunzilla have demonstrated time and time again that they really deeply understand how to create marketing beats, and they've always been creative with their marketing beats. I think this acquisition is not going to be Game Informer as we knew it growing up. It'll be some sort of twist. They're going to do something different. I think it'll be Game Informer in name only, truthfully. And I think the announcement that they rehired most of that team is probably going to, drum up some goodwill and some sentiment within the gaming community and hopefully make people feel a little bit better about Off the Grid as a business. They already know about them from their larger marketing campaign last year. Now they're coming back and they're reviving something that a lot of the older streamers grew up watching and paying attention to, and we'll definitely talk about the fact that Gunzilla made this purchase and is reviving, a media outlet that they loved growing up. But I don't think the plan here is let's rebuy Game Informer and we'll spin it up exactly how it was, which was ultimately a platform that didn't fucking work. I think Gunzilla gets really creative with this brand. I think in a year or two, if it's still around and if it's fruitful for Gunzilla, it looks almost nothing like what we expected Game Informer to look like. And that's probably a good thing. This team understands marketing today. They understand how to be savvy and creative with the way that they go to market with things. I think this will be a net positive, but I think anybody who thinks Game Informer, as Game Informer was 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 25 years ago, is still going to be the same thing today is delusional. Nobody cares about that anymore. People aren't reading written content on games. It's very, it's very, very evident that people want short form video. They want video content when it comes to games. They don't care to read it anymore. Half the gamers listening to this, if you're under the age of 30, there's a very high likelihood you've never even heard of Game Informer. You don't know what it is. You probably only ever heard of Rooster Teeth and Kind of Funny if you're in your early 20s. And even then, both of those platforms have died as well. I think they'll take a new spin. I think this is a positive thing, but it's not going to be Game Informer like Game Informer was.
I will die on this hill. Rooster Teeth sucked. I'm sending it over to John Rayoff, who has seen probably all 25 years of Game Informer. John, over to you.
So, you know, all of this legacy media was already pretty dead about 10 years ago. And so when we launched Game of Thrones, we didn't even pay attention to this stuff. And it really was just more about using the channels that were available. So, I mean, the best channel we had for Game of Thrones, guess what? It was the Game of Thrones fan page on Facebook. Like, we post a message on the Game of Thrones fan page, we get 5,000 installs a minute. Like, it was insane. So this is the trend that was spoken about from the beginning here, which is becoming the media rather than relying upon the media. And that's just what's playing out here. The one thing I will question, though, is like, I think there are some interesting assets. First of all, I think there are some interesting assets in Game 4. There's the name, there's the URL, there's SEO value. So there's a lot of ingredients there that you can use to create new content that can be surfaced in a lot of interesting ways that could produce new channels into installs for the games that they want to direct people to. And I'll question the whole thing, like the Web3 thing. I'm not negative on that aspect because I think that the gaming market broadly doesn't know what the fuck Web3 is. Like people don't know anything. I mean, this is the reality. The player doesn't really know that much. We get into these bubbles where we talk about dimensions of the industry or particular categories of the industry. And inside these echo chambers where we have our opposite echo chamber, the Web3 haters, like, that's a pretty small niche within the industry. Like, most of these people don't give a shit about blockchain. They could care less. All they want to do is play a good game. So they're not like hanging out, waiting to reject Game Informer. Yeah, there will be some people who show up there because they've got an axe to grind, and those people will always show up. Mostly they'll show up, and all the other gamers are gonna be like, what the fuck are they talking about? What is blockchain? Like, and suddenly they'll start learning about it. But I'm not threatened by that.
Love that take. I'm sending it over to Kevin Lambert now. Kevin, what's your sentiment score on this this surprising acquisition?
I'll lead with the sentiment score, 6. 6 out of 10. I got a light side, dark side take to this. And the light side is, man, you know, we as an industry need, you know, the waters to get warmer. It has, right? Like, if you look at where the perception of Web3 gaming in 2017 and 2020, where it was like cancer, cigarettes for children, and drug dealers and money launderers, we've come a long way since then. But I still think there's an uphill climb, and there's still a lot of people out there who are like, oh, there's blockchain associated with that game, send it to 0. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, that's still out there. It's just less. So having, you know, a media, a place to get information about games in a way that's not so Kotaku biased level against Web3, and in fact the opposite of that to balance, I think is excellent and will do good things for us. That's my light side take. The dark side take is, man, the opportunity cost. Like, I don't know the master plan, and so there could be more information here that would change my opinion on this. But like, at surface level, here is a team who is already in a very risky position. They haven't made it yet, right? They're one of the shots on goal that we're all hoping is going to crush and get Web 2 adoption and all that good stuff. And they just spent a massive amount of their war chest on this. And I'm just like, what else could they have spent it on to increase the chances of success. And like I said, maybe there's a master plan here that I'm like, did not see that move. That was it. That was excellent. But I'm just like, holy crap, that money feels like a mortgage against the future of a studio who's still at risk, right? Like still trying to take lining up the shot. So I don't know, man, that scares me a lot and I hope it works out. But I'm just like, what else could they have spent that on?
I might have missed a detail. How much of that war chest was spent on this? Is that disclosed?
It was not. I believe the numbers that we do have is whenever they were in the process of going out of business. I think somebody said the price tag was $25 million. That was their asking price.
Yeah, that price didn't hold up.
Yeah, then they went out of business and waited for 4 months, and then this happened, or I guess 6 months. I think it was August was the last time we covered this story. So yeah, and anybody have a guess? Anybody want to throw out a number?
$0 down, and they're getting cashed out on a royalty.
Ooh.
Yeah, if it was like pennies, if it was in the no-brainer category, that certainly changes. Then there's less of that opportunity cost there. But if it's in the millions, like even a handful of millions is still a little scary.
I have a strong inclination it was not pennies. That's all I'll say, but I'm almost positive it wasn't pennies.
You could value it based on traffic, and maybe there's enough traffic there that you can just do the math and acquire it. I wouldn't even know.
Yes, and let's send it over to Koji next for that sentiment score. And for on traffic, I heard somebody say 90,000 visits per month to the website still, I think, despite the company being out of business. So it's not nothing. Koji, over to you.
That's low.
I'm going to go 6.5 just because I'm a lover and staunch believer in physical media. But also the website, the Twitter, and like all the social media accounts, etc. Like you kind of have to account for some of that stuff. As far as because I've heard the argument before, like they could have spent their money on better things. Well, the truth is they have spent their money on better things, right? Like they did the whole streaming marketing route. They've done I feel like they're doing almost everything they can do in order to get the word out there to people and try, short of actually launching the token and doing whatever. But they're doing a fucking amazing job. And anyone who's like, oh, I don't know about this marketing tactic, I think it's just one bullet in a chamber of a fucking machine gun, right? So I'm not going to doubt it. The reason I'm 6.5 mostly is because it feels like there's a fox in the henhouse. I hate the idea of a game owning a game magazine, and would they ever publish a review of Off the Grid, and could it ever actually be subjective? That seems insane to me. This is the gaming equivalent of Fox News, not throwing any shade at Game Informer or Gunzilla. I'm sure they'd be more fair than that, but I don't know. I know there's no such thing as unbiased media these days, but I wish that there was.
Interesting to see. I just went to their Twitter, 2.3 million followers, and they're already ripping out content in the last couple hours. They've already got a bunch of posts talking about trailers and stuff, so they're already hitting the ground running. Let's go over to the tatted lawyer, Michael Christine, then I'm going to tag in T-Valk.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grade this about a 3. And the reason I'm going to grade this about a 3 is because if you look at the average statistics for where people get their news, if you're under the age of 50, over 60% of the people under the age of 50 get their news from TikTok and video content, meaning not printed publications like Game Informer. So as much as I love it personally from a nostalgic, I'm a millennial, this is so cool. Am I going to buy the magazine ever? No. Just like I didn't buy the magazine for the last 20 years. I think it's cool. I think it's nostalgic. I think they're going to crank things out on Twitter. But I think as we found in Web3, gamers don't care about Twitter. So who cares about that? So I give it the Barrett's 3. I think it's cool. I think it's nostalgic as a millennial. But if you look at where people get their news from, it's all short form video content these days. It's YouTube, it's TikTok, it's any kind of these short form places. And then also Game Informer is very Western. So what are we going to do for the rest of the world? Or just nothing? We're going to ignore where majority of gaming happens, which is in the Asia Pacific region. So I'm going to rank it a 3. I think it's kind of just more of a hype, 2 weeks of hype, and then everybody's going to kind of forget about it and move on to the next hype piece of information.
Yo, he wishes they bought Nintendo Power instead. We all know it.
Yes, but Nintendo would never allow that to happen.
Interesting point there, Michael. Only 4,000 followers for Game Informer on TikTok, so essentially no presence there. Let's go over to Tony Valkersel from Glitter Cloud, then we'll tag in Sinjin from Meiji.
I'm really torn on this, but I think it's either a 10 or like a -50, and the reason I think that is, I'll try to be a little nicer than Dub, but coming out of an organization that was just terribly conflicted over what we wanted to be and what we were building, and seeing how that impacted our ability to execute, I get really nervous when I see talented teams of creative people buying or creating completely orthogonal products, like TV shows, or in this case, media platforms. The counter to that is, like, you could argue that they're just buying eyeballs, right? Like 2.3 million followers on Twitter is a real thing. You dig a little bit deeper. They posted something an hour ago that doesn't have 100 likes yet, right? And I had a shitty indie game on Solana with 11,000 followers that was getting 200 likes in the first hour when I was posting fucking memes about me in the Bahamas, right? And so I question the validity of that reach, is my point. And so, I think, but on the other side of the coin, as Koji said, these guys are geniuses, right? Like, they have, Theo and company have launched the most successful Web3 campaign that in existence, in my opinion. I think that they, and I don't think that's a controversial statement to make. And so I think that they probably have something up their sleeves. If they, when I was at Amazon and Twitch, we bought Curse. I wouldn't have done it. We should have bought Discord, but they bought Curse largely because Curse was driving all this traffic to Twitch. And then we, 6 months after buying them, discovered that they were embedding Twitch streams on the bottom of all these websites that drove a shitload of traffic, and getting their streamers, plugged up high in the widgets and game in the system. I say that like a negative thing, but if Theo over at Gunzilla is like running a playbook like that, and like I just don't understand how he's going to use the 90,000 people that come to the website every month, or the 2 million Twitter followers, in a way that might algorithmically generate demand on other platforms. There could be some crazy master strategy there. In that case, it's a 10. If there's not, and they're like, hey, we bought a Twitter account with 2.3 million followers and a website with 90,000 people coming to it, and we think that the eyeballs from that are going to drive value, I think it's probably a -50, and they might be distracting themselves, but as Kevin alluded to. But that's my take.
Man, a lot of mixed feelings on the panel for this one. Curious if anybody's going to come in hot with like a 1 or a 10. Sinjin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm unfortunately mixed feelings about it too. I give it a 5. I pretty much agree with everything that Nox said, but I also want to add that yeah, I think it's a Chad move. I think it's, they're definitely pushing the boundaries here. I think in terms of like the premise about it, I think it's fantastic, getting out to Web 2, showing more presence. But if you go through Reddit, I mean, the very top comments are all like, oh, well, this is fucking great, but it's, bought by, a shitty Web 3 company, and they're all fucking grifters. So, that's one aspect of it, but I want to see on more of a business side, like a legacy media turnaround. Like, it hasn't actually ever happened, right? And so even if they're getting it pennies on a dollar, like, what's the net effect going to be? I mean, in poker, we have 2 major offline brands, WSOP and WPT, right? And those have been like passed around a little bit over the last, 5-10 years between different ownership, in order for, poker to kind of make its way back, or new sites kind of bring it on. How much value has that actually done, or created growth or hype or whatever like that? Very little. Very little. And, the thing is with legacy businesses like this, right, if you don't figure out something really innovative, right, it's just a burn and it eventually dies. Like, it's just, that's it. John mentioned, like, this was pretty much dead 10 years ago. Nothing really changes that. So unless they have massive plans for it, and, obviously, I think Gunzilla, they understand the DNA of gamers fundamentally. And so that editorial independence is really key. I don't think that the editorial board will start shilling Gunzilla or blockchain stuff or the game itself heavily. It's good that there's going to be, maybe more of a balanced take, but like, will they get very much out of this? I don't know, but I think, I give it a 5 because I think, it's a Chad move, and good luck to them. But the amount of effort necessary to really make this a hit and make it a really good channel for them, it's so fucking huge.
I just want to see that Game Informer magazine hit my mailbox one more time. I just need that hopium one more time. Wills understands. Jerry, Are you down to take a 1 or a 10 here? What's the sentiment score on Gunzilla picking up Game Informer?
Because I love you, I will go a little bit more bullish than I was. I'll say 10, Sam. Because I think there's a couple things we're not thinking about, right? And I saw the same number floated around by a few different people. That's about 100,000 people that were visiting the website. That's not a small number. It's not the number that's needed to obviously make a game a mainstream success. But I think at one point, Game Informer had like 7 million subscribers, right? And if an email list or if a bunch of data comes along with this purchase, I mean, I think that's a little bit more attractive to me than I mean, it's still a gross overpay for just like emails, right? But I don't think that this is like a purchase to let Game Informer continue to just like extend the death out of a legacy media company. I would assume that this is going to grow into what their attempt is at building like a little bit of a media empire that they control, right? They have their relationships with streamers. I think Theo knows that information is distributed via short form content now. It wouldn't surprise me to see Game Informer iterate and become a blend of both, right? A blend of legacy media plus some incubated talent, which is actually a really good thing for all these KOLs that are in Web3 right now who can't break out of the bubble, right? So I think that's what the play is here, is start to build a media company that you can control, something that's like a bar stool or like what Chive used to be or whatever. So and I think for that reason, we should be all in, right? Beyond that, I think people are continuing to turn more towards like vintage stuff. Koji's fucking going to a VHS store, dude. I brought a 35 millimeter disposable camera with me to GDC, and that's the only that's the only camera I brought with me, right? So I think people are kind of enjoying vintage stuff again, and some people like Sam, you and I both agree on this. Like, I don't really play a ton of PC games at this point because I kind of want to go play my Switch just to get off my computer. So I think people are going to want to get off websites and get off being on YouTube so much. And I think physical is a little bit of a novelty thing and is a little bit, uh, kind of like this tchotchke thing of having this magazine shipped to you. But like, I would buy it, and I can afford the $9 or whatever it's going to cost, right? And I think like the part that's most disheartening about this is like where I get disappointed in the Web3 industry is why are people for like why are we have opinions on this already? Like people are already saying this is a failed business transaction and we don't fucking know, right? How many Web3 games have we seen ship, do zero marketing, just go like, hey, we put this game on the App Store. Oh fuck, only 10,000 people downloaded it. This isn't sustainable. Like, there's a team trying something new, trying something different. Is it going to work? We don't know, but I think we have to applaud the effort here to do something to break through the noise. And I'm not a huge like I don't know the right way to frame this, but like I don't believe that like snaking people into Web3 is going to be like the best thing. But do I think that a bunch of people who loved Game Informer, who were sad to see it shut down, just saw a Web3 company come and be a savior to something that they loved? I think that there's some validity to that. And I think that's something that can move the needle for people and can make them look at, Web3 as something that can kind of bring the video games industry, a little bit further along than it's currently at. So, yeah, I would say like I'm at a solid 8 because I love you, Sam. I'm at a 10 on this.
Dude, I love it, man. That's a great point, right? We can sometimes be the savior with this money that we're able to raise in Web3, and it is a really interesting, different marketing strategy that honestly can't really be replicated. I mean, it can only be replicated as often as really nostalgic 30-year-old IPs with massive followings come along for sale.
Can I say one other thing, Sam? That's just beyond this.
Yeah, sure.
Is sometimes shit in gaming isn't always pure, and it isn't always like the way it seems, right? A lot of times, like games get shipped, and it's totally manufactured hype, and no industry in gaming knows this more than Web3. Like this shit is manufactured a lot of the time. So, did the Gunzilla team just develop or just come up with a way to manufacture a little bit of excitement and hype towards their game, which is ultimately going to be the thing that leads them to success? Yeah, I think they did. Is Game Informer probably going to be a loss leader or probably going to be like negative on the balance sheet? Probably. But if that makes the game a success, does it fucking matter?
It's a good question. Let's go to Knock, who's spamming the 100, and then Sinjin and Wills both put the hand up during that.
All right, Jerry, you made me feel all of the things during that. I vehemently disagreed with you in the first half. I mean, like this idea that like legacy media is going to make a comeback. We might as well start hiring some fucking town criers and having them ring some fucking bells and sharing the news by word. Like, I don't think it's going to happen
Yes.
in that perspective.
That's what we're doing.
But the second piece is important, and I think that this is where they're going to lean into. There's a couple of things that I think people are missing from this equation. One, TGE and gaming going live are likely around the corner. So to drum up hype, to get in the news, to have a couple of really good, strong marketing moments leading into that. Obviously, we know Gunzilla has been excellent at their approach in doing so far. This just feels like a natural extension. The other thing that they've been really good at is creating video content. Their ads for the game, their live streams, the type of media that they've put out from a video perspective have been fucking incredible pieces of work. And I think that you're going to see Game Informer sort of take on a new life through short form content. Like, people are not loyal to verticals like they used to. They're loyal to the platforms that they pay attention to. And you see this in real time when we have this streaming war go on, you know, in 2019, 2020, when everybody's getting these contracts, right? Dr. Disrespect gets banned on Twitch. For most people, he fucking disappeared. He was live streaming on YouTube, but he might as well have been no longer a streamer because anybody who was watching him on Twitch did not follow him to YouTube. The same was true for Ninja moving to Mixer. The same was true when Tim moved to YouTube. The number of people who actually were loyal to those guys as individual creators versus the platform itself was a lot smaller than I think people think. What I would imagine is happening here is they purchased a name and a brand that will instantly give them some validation when they go towards these short form content platforms. Game Informer on TikTok is going to be something that people go, oh, that's awesome. They're doing TikTok content now. And that's more native to who Gunzilla is as a brand. I will be absolutely stunned if the magazine comes back in any way more than a commemorative version that first comes out as sort of like, hey, we're back. Here's a special edition magazine, and like 1 to 2 special edition magazines a year. I don't think that this continues to be a magazine. I think you see a new age media brand, a brand that is going to focus on things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, because that's where they're excellent at. That's where they've demonstrated an ability to create really high impact content, and they're going to leverage that Game Informer brand to do something cool on these platforms. I don't think it's going to come back like we expect it to. And I think it's kind of ridiculous to assume it will. There's a reason why these platforms have died. There's a reason why more of them shut down every single day. And there's a reason why almost nobody else is trying to buy them. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a way to leverage that content, if you don't have prerequisite skills to do something like short form video, all you're doing is paying for a very expensive name. Luckily, Gunzilla has all of those skills. They have the ability to create short form content. They have 2 or 3 major game catalysts coming up. It feels like another sort of perfect storm moment. Drum up some hype, get yourself in front of the media, build up some goodwill with some gaming content creators leading into your TG in game. I think we look back on this in a few months and say, even if Game Informer itself doesn't work out as a platform, this was probably a really well executed move by Gunzilla.
It's interesting because it seems like the potential better fit would have been Avalanche buying it. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. I mean, who knows? But you know, this could have been cool. Let's go over to Spangler, and then we'll tag in Sinji. Then we got to move on from this one.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to tag on to Jerry's point about like the vintage. And I know people don't like vintage, but what a lot of people hate even more than vintage is AI produced slop. And I think that this acquisition can put Game Informer in a really interesting place because games journalism, as we currently understand it, is in the gutter. No one trusts reviews. It's impossible to find reliable sources on what games to play because it just doesn't matter because everyone's eating the slop anyways. Everyone has their forever game and is complaining about how much it sucks and knows that it sucks. And as we see the market kind of tank, and just for the record, I'm one of those people. I hate Destiny, but I got thousands of hours in it. But as we see the market move away from these kind of big blockbuster AAA forever games because shots on goal here are just too damn expensive. And we're already seeing the rise of these indie titles and independent developers creating games that are massive hits across the market. And you tie that into the the rise of independent game developers and the ease of coding, we're going to have more games than ever before. And one real bottleneck for those games doing well is the kind of people that are reviewing them and talking about them. I recently stumbled upon a YouTuber who plays all of the games that I play. And I know that if I just watch his content and see what he's playing, I'm going to know the kind of games that I enjoy because I trust his taste. If Game Informer can, in this kind of Phoenix moment, become a new avenue for content creators and critics to define tastes and create niches and occupy audiences who inhabit those smaller niches, I think it will be perfectly suited for the market to come. So I think that I just wanted to flag that because I thought that was a really interesting point Jerry brought up.
Great take, Spang. Sinji gets the last word.
Oh, Jerry, my sweet summer child. You know, like, I gotta tell you guys, listen, you know, a company DNA really, like, the culture and how it's been operated, you know, you can't discount that. And in some ways, you know, it's a Chad move for them, you know, Gunzilla buying it with that. But to make a turnaround in this particular case, it is so fucking hard, right? And the process of doing that. And, you know, I want to also say that, you know, like, if it really did have any value in terms of a, you know, marketing channel or customer acquisition channel, whatever, so on and so forth, like, it probably would have been picked up by a publisher. For them to actually shut down, you know, it's not like they don't have the network in the industry to have, like, basically tapped every single person. And, you know, one thing I want to say as well is, like, you know, we may praise Gunzilla for what it's doing in marketing, stuff like that, but they're doing a Web2 playbook, right? Like, any major publisher will be doing what they're doing. I still think they're Chads, don't get me wrong, because, you know, they went out and they actually did it that way and they are spending the money, right? But, you know, if this is their playbook and, you know, they're buying guns, you know, Game Informer, is this really going to move the needle? I don't think so. And this is fucking difficult, really, to make this turnaround. Even if we all know, and, you know, we always say this in Web3 gaming, you know, like, you know, you're so stupid if you don't have, like, a Web3 native on there. And because the gulf is so different, like the gap between, you know, how we're approaching Web3 and what are the kind of metrics or success metrics or you know, what's important. And is Game Informer and their editorial board and stuff like that, are they going to get it? Are they going to be able to get that content out? Plus turning around the business into something new that is really innovative? Man, that's a really hard sell. But Chad's anyways. That's why I give him a 5.
I love that. Yeah, Chad's for the attempt in my book, no matter what, because I love Game Informer, and I think people might be undervaluing how much that 2 million that 2 million on Twitter is worth. I'm sure they have an Instagram account as well. I'm sure they have a YouTube account as well. They drive a lot of traffic to their website, etc. If they were able to get it for a reasonable amount, I think it's a great move. I was a little bit concerned when I saw they were bringing back 100% of the staff. As great of a headline as that is, that's the part that feels the most expensive and least sustainable to my brain, but we move on. Hold on to your helmets. Avalanche is the king of gaming chains and therefore the official chain of Gamified. Join us for a shivering shootout and try Shatterline and Off the Grid, 2 of the hottest games on the coolest chain. They're conquering the cold with cutting edge technology and a community Rumble with their mega MetaMask partnership. Come join the digital nation and get your citizenship so you can level up your life thanks to Game 7, the official infrastructure of Gamified. And this isn't your average space sim. It's a cosmic cocktail of stunning visuals, deep strategy, player-owned everything. So build up your own spaceship armada and explore uncharted worlds with your friends. Star Atlas isn't just about building spaceships and lasers. It's about building a community, a galactic civilization where players write the rules. So if you're ready to trade your boring Earth life for a cosmic adventure, join the Star Atlas fleet today and hop into the Discord to grab a game key. Thanks to the official game of Gamified. What's the word? We're going to make this one a quick fire. Silent Hill F, the newest iteration in the genre, is being effectively banned in Australia Earlier this month, they received an M rating from the ESRB, which is an equivalent 18 plus in Japan. It includes characters being burned alive, getting portions of their face sliced off, and visible entrails, quote unquote, among other graphic elements. And it was a refused classification was the label it got in Australia, which might not be a ban in name, but it basically stops it from being released or sold in the country. Is it possible for, I guess, a piece of art in the form of a game to go too far? Or is this unfair that they're unable to release the game in certain countries? What's the word? We're doing a quick fire here. Koji, over to you, bud.
The word is fuck yes. Most people on this panel are probably too young to remember the controversies that were Mortal Kombat, but that shit was all my childhood. All they talked about was how video games were going to destroy the youth and warp our minds and do all the shit. And it was because Mortal Kombat was the most violent, crazy thing ever. And now people look at that game, they're like, whatever.
So
you know,
tame.
and the fact that we're back to like, oh, video games are too violent, it's all fucked up and whatever. Like I say, push the limits as far as you can fucking go. I can't wait.
That's awesome. All right, Koji coming in hot with that one. Michael, Christine, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to say the word is typical. Countries do this all the time. I actually think it's more of a marketing boom for them, being like, oh, we're banned in Australia. Come find out why. I think that's going to be more of a benefit to them than it is a hindrance. But this happens all the time. I think GTA, back when GTA 2 and 3 first came out, they also struggled to get in a couple regions. So very normal. People freak out. Australia has crazy ratings all the time. Like, for example, my game would be rated M in Australia, even though it's rated T for teen here. So they're usually the extreme. Not a big deal. Typical.
That's crazy. I wouldn't think Australia would be the sticklers here, but I guess you learn something new every day. Jerry, over to you, bud.
Yeah, the word is punk rock, baby. This is fucking stupid that they're trying to ban a game. Like, Koji kind of hits nail on the head, but I think what happens when you do something like this is people who want to play it are going to find a way to play it anyway. And people who are just kind of curious are really going to go find a way to play it anyway. And, all these little Australian edgy fucking kids are going to download VPNs and just go buy it. And, it's not going to stop anybody. So shout out to all the little Australian edgelords out there. Long fucking VPN stocks.
It's crazy to me because I feel like I've seen all the things it lists in movies like a dozen times, and it's never been more than like PG-13 or rated R. So to outright ban it seems a little bit crazy to me.
Every video game ever has the same shit. You know what I mean? It's like I just watched some Australian dude kill a dude in Call of Duty and then hump him. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Big facts on that one. Let's go to Knock, then we'll tag in Lems.
Yeah, I'm sorry to my American friends here on the panel, but these takes have been like the most American thing. It's the way that it is here, so it should be that way everywhere. What are we talking about? China has banned blood in games for fucking decades. The word here is unprepared. How the fuck do you not have a switch that turns off some of the gore so games can be played in places where they ban this shit? This has happened in Valorant. It's happened in CS. It's happened in a ton of games. The only word is unprepared. These rules aren't new. You know that they've existed. Yes, it sucks that you're not going to be able to see the game in its full glory the way that it's designed to be played, but none of this is new. So to have this and like not have some form of preparation in place that will allow you to turn off a couple of graphical settings that allow your game to be played in another country is insane. When Valorant launched, they made a point. They made a point of calling the bomb the spike. They made a point of calling terrorists and counter-terrorists attackers and defenders, and they turned blood on and off with a switch. Why? Because in half of the regions that they were targeting, a lot of that language was banned. So instead of bitching and complaining about the game not being able to be played the way that they wanted to be played, they prepared for it, and Valorant is one of the biggest titles on the planet. The only word here is unprepared.
I'll never forget League of Legends being banned in China because Graves, one character, smokes a cigar. Completely illegal. Ban it forever. Sinjin, over to you.
Yeah, what's the word? Anal. Australia is known to be such a fucking nanny state. Fuck those guys. But in terms of what Nock was saying, like the publisher rejected it as well. I mean, because they have a vision for the game, and they're willing to like just whatever work it out or not work it out with Australia. So kudos to them. It's not like they could have turned it on. I mean, this is really a core part of their IP and stuff like this in terms of what their positioning is. And I think it's great for their marketing as well. So, but yeah, Australia, fuck those guys. They're fucking anal.
Keep it with the quick fire. Let's send it over to Lems into Spang.
All right, the word is lame. Like, come on, Australia. Like, I remember being a kid and Postal coming out, and like at the time that was super edgy, and I remember it being banned in Australia. And now we look back like 25 years later, and it's so tame. But like Australia has banned lots of games before. They banned like Daisy and Saints Row because there was some weed in the game. It's like, Jesus, guys, can you not chill? Like, that's a culture that uses the C word every sentence, and we can't have like a little bit of weed or some blood and violence in some games. Like, yeah, really weird from their standpoint. But yeah, everyone who wants to get it is just going to find a way to download the games. But man, they got to like chill with their regulations over there.
Great stuff, Lem. Spang, what say you? What's the word here?
The word is wrong because the statement that it wasn't going to be reviewed has been pulled as of like 24 hours ago or something, I'm seeing. So they will be reviewing the game and they will be giving it a rating. It's probably going to be the highest one. But yeah, I mean, everything everyone else was saying. If you don't know Australia's a nanny state, you haven't been there and paid $20 for a shitty side road of food. But that's it is what it is. Beautiful country. They don't want scary games because it's scary enough just going outside. All right, so give them a break.
Is just all you have to defend the motherland, dude? That's all you got?
Dude, so what I'm hearing is if it's been pulled, then Silent Hill just got the best of both worlds. They got the marketing beat and they get to release in the country. Insane. Kevin, what's the word?
Yeah, my word was fact check, which I posted because I saw the same thing, that the ban has maybe been walked back a little bit. Totally agree with Knock. I have had the same preparedness. Like, we released No One Lives Forever. We had to make the blood green in Germany, like in the Europe, because they weren't cool with that. So like we had all of those switches, and it's really like, as a game developer, do you want to, how much does it mean to you to release in those regions? The other word could be statement. Like, you might want to say like, hey, let's make a statement. Like, I want to say Devolver had a Hotline Miami thing that they were banned for in Australia, and they were like, nope, suck it. And then they left it that way, and it remains banned to this day. So, there's a world where you as developer or publisher might want to make a statement, and, you're well within your rights to do that if you want. I'm of the opinion that everybody should get to experience content. And if there's some hoops you have to jump through to get your content there, you do that. Like, I don't know. That's, if I were behind the wheel, I would be doing that. But, I'm a big sellout, so that's fine.
Way to end that one with a bow on top. All right, we're moving on, guys. Bigger deal. Okay, this one's a little bit heady. This is me and Lems in our bag here, just trying to philosophize some interesting content, because I think this is actually a really interesting conversation here. Okay, bigger deal. AI powering new genres of gaming, or AI just offering better tools for game development. So I got this whole preamble. AI is changing the landscape of gaming, from developer tools building games more efficiently to creating new genres of gaming that were never possible before. For example, on the builder side, we have projects like Farcade making it possible to build new games, and also Levels.io building a flight simulator only in Cursor. Then we have brand new games being built like Parallel Colony, which Koji famously dubbed as the player 1.5 game, where the human is like a half player and the agent is actually the main player. And then we have Yumio Worlds, formerly Today the Game, getting ready to launch Limboverse, which is going to be a big interactive AI Big Brother type thing that's only possible with AI agents. So these types of games were strictly never possible without the power of AI. So what is a bigger deal for the industry? Better tooling, or better, or at least more interesting differentiated genres? I think Koji had the hand up first. Over to you, bud.
I mean, as somebody who's making a game like you mentioned, I still think the bigger deal is better tooling. Whenever you can sort of like remove the limits to creativity, the amount of offering and the quality of offering just goes up. Like look at content in general, right? Like as soon as the internet became a thing and you weren't just limited to like 6 TV stations, all of a sudden like everything on TV has gotten like a fucking a million times better. When you didn't need to know how to code to build a website, suddenly anyone can build like their own eShop or whatever. And now like the amount of stuff offered online is like completely insane. And I think that like game designers or wannabe game designers or future game designers not being limited to needing to know how to use any of this shit and just being able to be like, I have a really good idea for a game and I just want to see it executed. And then that happening is like fucking massive, right? And some of that will lead to games that are like live in the world of AI, but just having more people able to like see their vision come to fruition, I think is like the game industry is gonna change forever after this, and not just because of AI, like AI genre games. I think just like the amount of shit that you'll be able to see come forward will be astronomical.
Inclined to agree with you there. John Radoff from Beamable, sending it over to you next.
I think the really interesting thing to look at is who the people are that will make games. Like that's the real change that happened with things like YouTube, for example, changing the ability for people to become a broadcaster, a market I think you know really well, Sam, right? So, you know, the interesting thing about this is we're looking at a whole new generation of people who are creating, and it will not be the same people who created in the past. And probably a lot of the initial content is going to be bullshit. But like, look, there's already 19,000 games on Steam last year. Most of it wasn't a huge standout. I don't take anything away from anybody. Lots of them were perfectly fine efforts, but they didn't really stand out or differentiate themselves. But if we can change who makes games and really democratize this industry so that we get new creative directions and new ideas that can be executed without having to go to some fucking green light committee at a big publisher, then that's great. Or convince a VC, which is not easy either. So I'm excited to see all the new game developers come into the market.
Great take from John. Let's go over to Jerry next. Jerry, what's the bigger deal here? The tools or the thing that the tools enable, which is a new host of possibilities here?
Yeah, Sam, I apologize that my fellow panelists fact checked you so harshly. I want to say this is a phenomenal question. But I would also like to say that I'm going to take the counterpoint of what Koji says, in that, like, you know, it was really easy to do in the 90s was like choose a TV show to watch because you only had like 6. Now, like, how often do we all sit down on the couch and just like look through the catalog of this Netflix and you're like, which one do I watch? And I think this first wave of like AI tooling is going to lead to a lot of the same shit that's just easy to make. And that kind of sucks. And I wish it wasn't that way. But like, how much do we all like the AI reply guys that are like half of our replies at this point? Like, we don't really like them, right? So, you know, I'm way more interested in the short term and like what new genres can be made and like how much better are AI games or like God style games going to be in the next, 2 to 3 years. Now, in a longer time horizon than that, it's the tooling that's the bigger deal. But in the short term, I'm just really hungry for like a new genre, like a new style of game to come out. And I think that's what's going to happen in the short term. Now, long term, post 5-year time horizon, the tooling is going to unlock so much crazy shit. But I'm personally more excited for new genres to come out.
You and me both, brother. Knock was hitting you with the thumbs down, though. Knock, what's up with the hate, brother?
Yeah, I think until we start to see these tools become more readily accessible, we should limit Jerry to about 4 channels and see how much he loves the content then. What a fucking insane take, Jerry. No, listen, it's absolutely the tools. I mean, we've seen this happen with pretty much every creative industry. TikTok is doing this in like real time with music artists and artists of all sorts. But 10 years ago, the idea that you might be able to record a song and post the song somewhere on the internet and blow up was like limited to like, oh my God, Justin Bieber's one of a kind. He blew up on YouTube. But now it's happening like all of the time. If you get in a car and you turn on a radio station, there's a really good chance that within like any 60-minute window, you're going to hear a song that started with some person on YouTube playing an instrument and it blew up on TikTok, and now they're fucking worldwide famous for their 15 minutes or whatever it might be. I think the idea of making tools and things that have been previously tied behind really in-depth like technical knowledge more accessible is good, because there's I wouldn't say it's an artificial barrier, but there's a barrier of sorts for people to get into game dev today. It's incredibly overwhelming. There's a number of different tools that you need to learn. Even just starting with where you're going to be building the game is stressful as all fuck. Charlie Blackstock did this demonstration for a bunch of people at GDC, and one of the things that he said has been like living rent-free in my head for the last week or so. But he described this ability to sort of create games iteratively with your friends. So imagine you have a group chat, and I put together a few prompts, and I have a base level version of a game, and Sam goes, that's a cool idea, but let's build this on top of it. And now it goes back, and Jerry's got an idea, and he wants to scrap something that I did and change it with something different. And I'm like, that sounds very abstract and kind of crazy, but if you think about it, like that is game development in a way that has literally never happened before. It's iterative, it's in real time, it takes a couple of prompts. None of us have the prerequisite skills to make that thing otherwise. I think the amount of games that you're going to see come out of the industry in the next 10 to 15 years will look a lot different than what they have historically. It's going to come from different types of people. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more bullshit and a lot more slop. To Jerry's point, we're seeing it now with what basically are just really smart chatbots on Twitter. But I think long term, you're going to see the types of people who have had ideas bring ideas to the table, and it'll enable new versions of games. But none of that happens without better tooling. And take it from literally one of the guys who's building one of the games that people are most excited about in the industry, that is leveraging AI in a way that a game literally could not have been built without the tooling that Koji is using today. And he's said as much. And if it's coming directly from him, yeah, the tooling fucking matters. And I think we're going to see a bunch of really creative games come out in the next little while. And it's going to come from a new crop of people who maybe never had access or didn't have any input in the games that they were playing prior. A lot of bullshit will come, but I think there's going to be some gems.
Yeah, but Nock, what's on Twitter today, right? The same Studio Ghibli picture, it's just posted like 1,000 different times in like slightly different poses. And that is not inspiring to me at all. Like the time horizon is what matters here. And I think like you're right. And you basically said what I said, which means I'm also right for the record. But I think like it's like the 5-year time horizon of the tooling is I think what matters. Today, it's like cool, I saw the same Studio Ghibli style picture, just
Holy shit,
1,000
Jerry,
different
I
poses of
can't,
it.
dude. You're such a dumbass, dude. It's a chat GPT filter that allows you to make
The
any
most
image a
forward.
Ghibli.
Yeah, it's the most
You're
forward
a
AI
dumbass.
company. You're a dumbass, dude. It's the most forward AI company, and all we get is the same picture in different poses.
Okay,
dude.
but Jerry, I
Have
think
fun
it's
with
the
that.
piece that you're missing is that this isn't a 5-year time horizon, right? Less than 6 months ago, no fucking generative AI could put together a fucking face, right? Hands, you had fucking 15 fingers on each hand, right? Like everything was fucked up. And 6 months later, you have what is really fucking good representation of what Ghibli looks like. I think that that's insane. We're not talking about 5 or 10 year windows. AI, literally everybody that I've spoken to in the games business in Web3 that is building with AI has shared some version of this sentiment. The tooling is moving so quickly that if you started today, even though we started a year ago, somehow you're more advanced than we are because the tooling is more advanced. The craziest part about all of this is the speed at which it's happening. So yeah, today you can build relatively shitty concepts with games on things like Cursor, or Levels is broadcasting his flight sim. But in 6 months' time, you're probably up to like low end of mid-core, which I don't think is unrealistic. We're seeing things happen really quickly.
That's what you guys said 6 months ago, though. And today, what I saw happen was a picture of me and Sam with a clear 25 on it come out as a 21.
All right, that the 25 wasn't that clear. What I will say though is Jerry, you and I have the same affliction, which is frustration at the repetition that humanity seems to be able to put up with, that you and I get driven crazy by. But this isn't an AI thing. This is like 3 days ago we were watching the same dude take his mouse tape off and dunk his balls in fucking sparkling water for the 750th time on the timeline. Just it's frustration not at the pace of development, but at the simplicity with which people use it. But hopefully the more advanced stuff is coming around the corner here. Let's send it over to Kevin Lambert.
Oh, tooling, easy tooling. Man, let me tell you a little story of some of the best tools I have ever used in game development. So we had this cracked engineer at Monolith back in the day. He was insane. And we were making this action RPG with spell casting, and we needed effects, like visual effects for the spells and stuff. And he made this tool that, like, I mean, this was in early 2000 years to put a timeline on it. And the tool that he made was this multi-track effects editor. He called it Effects Ed. And it looked like Adobe Premiere or After Effects does today, where you make a new track and then you add this and the sound and some ribbons and some particles. And so he made this tool, and the artists were then just like, oh, cool, I can make these effects. And they made these beautiful effects, and they just went right in the game, like boom, exactly as you saw it in this tool. And this, it just empowered the studio so much to make things, because now hey, programmer, we need a thing. Like, the artists were just able to use that, right? This is a content tool. There's also game development tools, but they're all in the tools category. And another one was, we had a level editor on a puzzle, like a casual kind of Lemmings meets Warcraft game called Grunt. Don't go search this unless you have safe search on. Grunts with a Z. But we had a level editor for that game that was like really good. And this tool was so good that we actually put it on the CD and shipped it, because we're like, let's let people make levels. And to this day, 20 some odd years later, people are still using that tool to make levels for a game that is, just still, being played by a handful of communities out there. And so the fact that AI is getting good enough to build these tools, and you don't need necessarily a cracked engineer to do that, is insane. It's going to level up game development. It's also going to level up content creation, so that maybe, the community can start helping out. Like, this is what we're doing on Project O. Like, we're going to make a card editor that's going to follow that same logic, where we're going to, down the road, release it to players and let them make their own cards and things. And man, having AI that can help with that is just going to level everything up. I'm super excited about it.
Kevin Lambert says, oh, you sweet summer children. St. John, I know you share that energy. I'm sending it to you next, bud. What's the bigger deal here? The tooling, or what the tooling enables us to create?
Yeah, absolutely. The tooling, but I guess it's both the kind of on the same spectrum there. Yeah, I mean, thank God we finished our game now. And I feel for any game developers that are kind of in the middle of it with the tooling and how quickly it is just improving. But I think, like, in terms of people thinking that just using AI to create these hyper casual games, or the next big fantastic game is going to come out. For hyper casual, I think that's great. And I think for this idea of prototyping, it is so fantastic. I mean, we spent 2.5 months on prototyping, and, if we had AI to kind of just like jiggle around a little bit more, maybe, that would have been quicker. Just like how when Midjourney 4 came out, like, all the concept artists basically lost their jobs, because, in terms of seeing different variations and stuff like that, you could do like the work of a concept artist. Oh my God, like, that would take like a month and a half for like whatever, like 6 or 7 characters and 2 different costumes, and that's really pushing it as well. Like, more likely like 2 would happen in like an hour and a half, right, with different prompts. But just like when UEFN came out and everyone's like, oh, this is the best, we're gonna have like the best mods and the newest games come out. Well, no, that didn't happen, because, making games is really difficult. I think there's an artistry there, and, you have to look at like what the data sets are out there. You can only kind of, make games right now with the AI. Hyper casual, I think, is fantastic, like Farcade, but like for more higher level stuff, there's a reason why, again, as the game market gets more and more competitive, again, for prototyping, I think it's fine. But for a hit game to come out for fully just an AI created kind of platform, I think that's pushing it. But overall, like, it's just fucking phenomenal. I mean, like, if I would never make an MMO, just because the amount of time it would actually take to do so, and the complexity. But with AI, like, I'm like, oh, maybe in like a few years, maybe I'll take a stab at it just for fun. So I think it's just phenomenal where we're going. And yeah, just the point where the other guys were saying, like, how quickly this is happening. Oh my God, it's fucking mind blowing.
You heard it here first. Sinjin's already working on an MMO. Don't forget it. Make sure you tweet it at him. No, I'll just play. Don't tweet it at him. Let's go over to Michael, Christine, then we'll tag in Spang.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to piggyback off of Kevin and Sinjin here. Like, I think the tooling is incredible, and just to tell an even personal story, my own developers are going crazy in terms of how happy they are in terms of these AI advancements. In a conversation I had with my head of design yesterday, he said that he's using AI now to make these base mesh sets that is saving him about an hour's worth of time every time he does it. And although an hour's worth of time doesn't seem like a lot, an hour's worth of time adds up. If he does this task every single day, that's 30 hours we just saved that month, and it's only going to get better and better and better and better. And one of the things that our games employs a lot is the ability to craft all these different materials, create new crafts, et cetera, et cetera. So what these AI tools are going to allow us to do is crank out new weapons, new armor, new craftable items so quick, because they have these really basic base mesh sets that we can now have AI make for us. So I think the tooling of this is incredible. I think it's going to speed up the time of game development. So kind of like what Sinjin said, if you're in the middle of game development and you're still saying I have 18 months left of game development, then I don't envy you, because if your game isn't launching soon, you kind of might get eaten up in this huge content revolution that we're about to see with all of these AI games launching every other second, every other day. And yeah, they might not be to a certain level right now, but 6 months down the road, we could be seeing at least some of the early pixel games that we saw in Web3 that kind of were crappy games that everybody was super, super, super hyped about. And I'm not talking about any of the current standing pixel games. I mean, the ones that died. But we're going to start to see that kind of evolution. And if you can make that kind of game with AI really, really quickly, imagine what we're going to see in a year from now. So I think it's one of the best things that ever happened in the industry. I think for current development studios, it's going to drastically reduce cost and decrease their margins. And I think for future developers, it's going to open the door to so many new creatives and imaginations that never would have had the opportunity because they didn't know how to develop using these tools in the first place. So big news for the tooling side.
Will Spangler, do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, and I'm going to keep it quick because I think there's been a lot of great points so far. But I'm going to say my little speaking point that I've said time and time again: game development as a hobby. That is where this is all going, and I think people are thinking about this a little bit wrong in terms of how is this going to impact the amount of games that are being released. And I feel like the regular gamer won't notice the increase in games coming out because it's already too much. We've already crossed the event horizon on there's new games every day to say I don't know how to explore all the games. That's already been crossed. What I think is going to be really interesting to see people competing against is how are you going to compete against some guy's buddy's game that he made, that he put him in? Because I'm going to play a game that my buddy put me in over any of your guys' games. And I think that's what it's going to become. Games are going to become these hyper-centralized experiences. And I'm so bummed that I missed Charlie's presentation, because that idea of cooperative iterative game development with your friends, that's it. That's what we want. That is the future. It is games are going to become these hyper-curated experience among groups of people who want to take a part in this and create these experiences that won't sell massively because they'll be formed from in-jokes and bits. I can't wait for the gamified brawler that's going to drop in a couple of months. Those kind of unique little experiences are going to be awesome, and that's where I think the potential of the tooling really is. Not just gaming as an industry and gaming as a platform, but gaming as a hobby, and really excited for that. So the tools is my answer.
Good stuff, Lems, and then Jerry.
Well, I'm really excited for the new genres, Parallel Colony. I'm so excited for. I'm seeing just some of these new game experiences come out, and to Jerry's point as well. In the short term, this is probably what's more impactful to your average gamer. They can actually pick up something and try it. But for me, it's definitely the tooling, and I do think experiencing that private presentation with Charlie from Farcade probably has an impact on my answer too, because it's a little bit abstract if you hear like, oh, the tooling keeps getting better and all these things, but just seeing that live there with him, and he kind of was going through it and talking about it, and someone just threw out like, hey, can we just do like a Guitar Hero game? And he literally just like spun it up right there on the thing as we were all sitting there. And it was like, oh, someone's like, oh no, change this. Like, hey, I want to change the colors and change these. And he's literally just like doing it live in real time while explaining to us how it works and saying that, you know, go back 6 months and the games that could come out were a lot more primitive, and like humans think on linear progression a lot of the time, not this exponential leaps and bounds that we're having. Like the analogy I always use is like, remember how much computers kept getting so much better with each generation? Even like consoles go from generation to generation with huge leaps and bounds forward. Like we're at that stage of AI now where, you know, in the computer, like, you know, you get a new computer this year versus last year, it's not going to be that different, but it's because we've kind of made all that progress and we've kind of plateaued, and now it's about making things cheaper. Whereas like with AI, we're still making these giant leaps and bounds every month, and like seeing where we're going to be at in 12 months and what we can build on the Farcade is just so exciting for me to see. So yeah, I think tooling definitely wins hands down, but I do think there is like validity to Jerry's point of like in the short term, the average gamer will probably just get more excited about like the unique experiences.
Great stuff. Jerry, with the last word, then we're going to the MVP of the panel.
Yeah. Look, I'm all in on Farcade. Charlie's one of my best friends. Sam and I were with Charlie when he like was coming up with the idea of Farcade, right? So I get it. I'm all in, and the tooling is obviously going to like change the games industry. But this whole thing of like, oh, we can do this in 6 months, or we can do this in 6 months, right? It's like, well, if you can, so can 7 billion other people in the world, right? So where is the uniqueness? Like, where is this is why I'm drawn to like new genres that can exist. This is why I'm so fascinated by Parallel Colony, right? It's a game that you haven't really played before, and it's a totally new thing. So, you know, the games industry that you guys are dreaming of, like, just prep resumes, because there is no business. There is no business, the video games industry after that, right? It's just going to be slop, and it's going to, I mean, at least in the short term, right? So, you know, you guys are soulless, and that's all. I want to leave that. You guys think about that for a week. You guys have no souls.
Yo, Sam, anyone can host a space, man. Anyone can just like talk to people on a Twitter Spaces. Like all these spaces are just gonna end up being slop. So just be careful, man. You're gonna be out of the job.
Hey, Koji, anybody can rip bad PFPs from their community and put them on Twitter and then come on this show and just say words. I mean, so you be careful. That's all going to be slop one day. Knock over.
And we did that for 4 years. We are now.
Knock the heads off.
I agree with the sentiment. I want to see more creative games. But let's stop fucking pretending once and for all that gamers care about creativity. The top 10 most games played today are Counter-Strike 2, Minecraft, which is a decade old, Fortnite, which is almost a decade old, The Sims 4, Roblox, which has existed for 15 years, Marvel Rivals, which is just Overwatch 2, League of Legends, which is a mod of Dota, which is a mod of a different game. Then there's Dota 2, the second version of that mod. And then you're playing Valorant, which is the version of CSGO 2. And then you've got PUBG Battlegrounds that started as a mod as a different game. Gamers don't care about uniqueness. They want shit that they understand.
That was a banger. Tony, your hand up.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
yeah, I had my hand. I kept putting it up and down, but I had to comment on Jerry's terrible take. The JTTs are just, they're mind blowing. But no, I believe it comes down to monkeys and typewriters. We're the monkeys, AI is the typewriter, and the games that are going to come out are Shakespeare. But I truly believe that with any creative endeavor, the wisdom of the masses matters, and the ability to capture that and quickly iterate and distill down feedback from an audience is what makes fun. The best game developers that I've ever talked to and worked with are people like Paul Bettner, who earlier today I was on a call with, and we gave him like 10 pieces of feedback, and he was like, fuck it, we're killing the product we've been working on for the past month because we've got enough of this feedback. Like the ability to have the appetite to quickly iterate and then have the tooling to do so is what makes fun shit. And I think that living in a sea of a million shitty Flappy Bird clones is the absolute right cost to pay for 15 Fucking Chained Echoes was the game that was made by like 6 years by like one guy. It was like an ode to Chrono Trigger. I played that thing like 10 times. Right? Like I would sift through a sea of bullshit for 10 more of those every year.
Yeah, I think it really divides it into two categories, right? There's like the forever games, and then there's like the micro experiences. And we sort of already have this with like the mobile app store, even though there are plenty of forever games on mobile now too. But I think whenever you're talking about these AI generated experiences, in a lot of cases it's like micro experiences, the stuff you play for 5 minutes or 1 minute or 30 seconds, the same way that you consume 30 seconds of a TikTok before you swipe. Now you can do that efficiently instead of having to go back to the app store, searching for a thing, doing the whole process. Now 30 seconds would have been a major waste of your time if that was all the enjoyment you got. But if all it takes is a finger swipe, 30 seconds is all of a sudden like a huge ratio of enjoyment to like work to find the enjoyment. St. John, over to you.
Yeah, it always pains me to agree with Knock. And so when I get an opportunity to disagree with Knock and just call him a sweet summer child, I get such pleasure out of it. Knock, fuck you. Like, gamers absolutely love creativity. The games that you all mentioned at their inception were fucking creative. Like even Dota wasn't even, or LOL wasn't even like a genre at that time. Like CS, the reason why it was so good was because it had like this enduring game loop that was just so much better than what everyone else was doing and shooting at each other and getting kills and stuff like that and frags. So I think, the creativity actually is what makes these enduring games happen. Yeah, fuck you, Nog. Put your hand down, boy.
Just real quickly.
Soulless.
Which game was it that a bunch of the panelists were praising as the game that was going to break all the records for concurrent players? Was it
Other
GTA
Side.
1?
It was Other
Was it
Side.
GTA 1? Or
It
was it
Other
GTA
Side.
6? It's
Other
the sixth
Side.
iteration of the
but
same
at the
fucking game we've been
beginning,
playing.
how innovative was that? That's my whole point. Like at the beginning, in order for it to be enduring, how innovative was it at that time, right? And so, not to discriminate you guys, but you guys love to like look at the current like situation and then say, based on the current situation, like that's how it was. But if you go right from the beginning and at that time when GTA came out, like holy shit, that was fucking awesome. Like, what the fuck, man? You can carjack and shit like that. It was unbelievable. And that's what makes it enduring. Knock, if you put up your hand, I'm going to fucking break it in person later.
It's the equivalent of saying that the Honda Civic is an innovative car because 100 years ago, the Model T replaced horses. We're not talking about the Model T anymore. We're talking about 100 years of vehicles that came after it. It's no longer the game and the reason why it was innovative, right? It's 6 iterations of the same fucking game in a different place.
How dare you, sir? My Honda Civic is a fucking legend.
The fact that you guys are talking about Honda Civics makes me want to just leave this conversation anyways, if that's the bar.
It shows that they have no souls, dude.
All right. We got 2 more hands. We're gonna go to these
Gingers all over the place.
Voting for the MVP, which might be the spiciest, most contentious MVP voting we've ever had. Spang, and then to the talent lawyer.
I'm glad Sinjin and Jerry ripped into Knock before I got to go, because that was how I was going to start off. But I also wanted to flag that the 2 of those games, Roblox and Fortnite, literally allow you to create your own experiences in those games.
It is the creativity of it.
People want modularity. People want unique experiences that are made just for them. And like that is where the opportunity is to allow to quickly and efficiently make games for smaller and smaller groups of people who are going to feel more and more seen by these projects and are going to be able to monetize more and pay more for those games because they like those games more, and the industry as a whole goes up. That's the dub, and it's because people want to feel special.
Michael, over to you, bud.
I could not agree more with what Spang said here. I grew up in the days of modding. Modding was huge. I don't know if anybody here played Halo, but Halo 3 mods were so much fun in terms of making your own map, doing the map construction, having your own private servers. Whenever we wanted to go be beasts in like the real servers, we would. But a lot of the times it was just a group of like 50 of us that would just play in these private servers all the time on these modded maps. So I couldn't agree more with what Spang said. And I think what we're going to see is so much modability. That's why Roblox became the juggernaut that it is because you can kind of create whatever you want in there. There's people making their own entire games within the game of Roblox, and also obviously within Fortnite as well. So I think this is just going to get huge and huge and huge as these AI tools come around. We're going to start to see innovations. We're going to start to see new types of games being created. Sinjin hit the nail on the head where these games when they first came out were super innovative. GTA 2, if you look at GTA 2 versus GTA 3, they almost look like night and day games in terms of like how they're set up. But like GTA 3 was like a revolution. My mom didn't want me to play it, but luckily my dad was a gamer and he allowed me to. So it's one of those things we're going to see this this kind of iteration continue to grow. So I think this age of customization that's coming is going to be so beautiful for the gaming industry, and it's going to be very much kind of like what we see with video content creation before. If you wanted to be a newscaster 20 years ago, you had to go and be on the news. If you want to be a newscaster today, you just need a cell phone camera and an internet connection. So I can't wait to see kind of how this industry grows and how like, you know, breaking down these barriers starts to change everything. And if I have to give my MVP today, it actually was going to be Knock, but I'm changing that to Kevin.
Well, I mean, you didn't even give anybody a chance to rebuttal that. You can't just move on to MVP.
Shut up, Jerry.
Sam, did you see the Golden Gate Bridge out that window at that beautiful home?
It's a hand system, Jerry.
Once or twice. What's the point?
Yeah, why? Why did you go there, Sam, you dumbass? Why didn't you just prompt it in AI to look at the Golden Gate Bridge?
Is anybody else following this path of logic? Because
no, Jerry's
dude,
gone off the rails here.
Jerry, who's your MVP?
It's honorary mention for Lems for having half a soul, but it's probably Will's. Will's made some great points. I'm the future of the games industry is bright because of people like Will's, these young kids like Will's who get it and who have souls. But shout out to Lems.
Lems, who's your MVP, bud?
All right, for me, it's got to be the tatted lawyer. Always good vibes. Great to meet you at GDC in person, Michael. And yeah, we've got to have you back on the show more.
Michael, it's been great. You've been killing it lately the last couple of months. Despite being a Nintendo shill, you know, it's still working out. Over to you. Who's your MVP?
I got to give my MVP to Kevin. It was going to be Knock until Knock started making some real nonsense takes. But Knock, I'm going to give you the half of the show. I was totally on board. The second half of the show, we're probably going to fight the next time we see each other. So, going to give it to Kevin. Kevin was laying it down today.
Hey, even Kobe only shot 47% from the field, Knock. Okay, don't feel bad, bro. Kevin, over to you.
I'm actually gonna give it to Knock. My favorite take of the entire episode was when he just called out, like, what studio doesn't put in a switch to turn off the blood for, you know, like the violent content? Like, how rookie do you have to be to not do that? I just love that call out. It was so good and so true.
Kobe, I mean, Knock. Who's your MVP?
I just want to say before I give my MVP vote, my favorite thing that's ever happened on Gamified is I give a take that gamers want familiarity, and the rebuttal is, yeah, but all of those games did something innovative 15 years ago. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, holy shit, man! Kevin's my MVP.
Let's go to Koji. Koji, who's your MVP?
Yo, my MVP is AI tooling because it's going to allow you guys to stop blabbing and start actually making something. So it goes to that. But
oh, fucking finger guns Koji over here, man.
I earn those guns, baby. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Jerry because I just love Jerry. I don't agree with a fucking word he said, but I love Jerry, so he's gonna be the MVP.
Damn, is this what Dub feels like, dude?
Shout out to Dub winning the ceremonious MVP last episode and not actually being there to do anything with it. That was incredible. Let's go to Wills next. Wills, who's your MVP?
I'm going to give it to Jerry because a raging hatred of slop is going to be vital for the survival of the games industry in the coming years. And I think we need that anger. We need that passion. We need that hatred of the mediocre to ensure that we move in the right direction. Otherwise, we will be consumed. We've seen it happen with mobile gaming, and it's going to happen again everywhere else once games go on AI. So love you, Jerry, man. Keep doing it.
Sinjin, who's your MVP, and then Dub?
Will's, he's always really really solid. I love his takes. I don't always agree with all the nuance sometimes of it, but I think it's fantastic. And we're gamer buddies, and so I did vibe code you a new game. It's called Will's Australian Anal Romp Around. I'll send you the link soon. Just made it right for you, man.
Target audience of 1. This is the.
It's just a bunch of pictures of Sinjin, though.
Dub is your MVP.
Jesus Christ. I was really hoping to get to front run all of this. Tatted Lawyer is the clear MVP. Like he showed up and showed out, but I wanted to focus on the least valuable player here being Jerry. We're all unintelligent that much more from listening to him. We would have been better without him. Even the banter was pretty low bar. Overall, hoping to see better from him next one, but not expecting any better.
Is it just me, or is Dub turning into Jerry? Is anyone else seeing this?
Hey, imitation. It's AI imitation, baby. Off-brand and cheap.
Well, we have a gamified first here, guys. We got a 4-way tie between Kevin Lambert, Wills, Michael, and Jerry, which means I get the
no votes for
tiebreaker.
Dub.
I get the tiebreaker because you're on my show, and I'm giving it to the man who's been down bad ever since Game Informer was taken off the shelves. My boy is getting the redemption arc is spelled SPANG. Take your 30 seconds of FaceTime, Will Spangler.
Yo, what's up, guys? I just want to say I love all of you so much, and like last week was a culmination of that experience. I've been on this show for what feels like forever now, but also feels like so short, and I've got to know all of you, and you guys have all played such a massive role in my understanding of the game industry, the world, life, and shit takes, and that's thanks to all of you. And
that's crazy.
And I don't know. I just if anybody on this panel needs anything, I'm here to help. I'm at Avalanche. We are the forerunner of blockchain gaming, and I want to make it the home of the game that takes the world by storm. And if you want to be a part of that, I'm always here. And anything outside of that as well. Love you guys.
Love you, dude. And I'm going to give a second honorary MVP to Kevin Lambert for letting us host the Project O World First Reveal and the World First Invitational at the house. That shit was absolutely
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
It was absolutely insane.
World first champion.
This fucking guy, bro.
Koji, you can suck a dick as soon as you invite me to an awesome invitational tournament that I get to host in my very own house. Then you can talk shit, but I'm sending it over to Kevin. Kevin, congratulations. We had a video that went out, the Seabass recorded. He asked like 50 people what their favorite game was at the house, and like 75% of them said Project O, and most of them weren't even TCG players, which I think is a testament to the success. And I just want to give you a chance to do a victory lap on all these chumps.
That was insane. That was actually one of the most frequent unsolicited pieces of feedback I got while at GDC at the Wolves Den, was these people who are like, I'm not a TCG gamer, but I saw the game. It looked pretty cool. People were talking about it, so I gave it a shot. And now I think I'm going to play card games. Like, that's insane that we're like,
so sick.
The gateway drug to card games. That's so cool. The other thing I'll say is I just finally had a catch-up chat with Jonah Blake, fairly polarizing individual in the space with some spicy takes.
Never heard of him.
And he has been known for like months ago. He was just like, oh my God, the last thing Web3 needs is another card game. So I always considered Jonah like either a mini boss or a boss on the arc of like product market fit for us. And so he played our game for the first time today, the same GDC demo that a lot of you guys played at the Wolves Den. And he had such amazing things to say about it. He was like, this is fantastic. It was so awesome to hear somebody flip from, oh my God, really, bro, another card game in Web3 to I think you guys have a shot at traditional market, gamer market fit. Like, this was amazing.
That's friggin' awesome, dude. Congratulations. Koji and Shambles. I can't wait for the project, the colony demo at the house next year when he tries to one-up you, Kevin. It's going to be amazing. Thanks in advance, Koji. I look forward to winning that invitational too. And I got to give a massive shout out to Avalanche, the official chain of Gamified. It's more than just a blockchain. It's a winter wonderland of innovation with $100 million AI-funded partnerships with gaming giants like Gunzilla Games, T1 Esports, Solo Leveling, and more. Avalanche is breaking the ice and setting the standard for the future of Web3 gaming. So whether you're a seasoned pro or a curious newbie, come explore the avalanche of possibilities and discover a world where the snow never melts and the fun never stops. And I'm calling all cosmic crusaders and spacefaring scoundrels because Star Atlas is about to ignite the gaming galaxy with its pulse-pounding space races where velocity and valor are your keys to victory. Master the maneuvers of magnificent spaceships, mine marvelous minerals, and build an empire that spans the stars. And join that Discord so you can get a game key and play the preseason to prepare for a year of stellar surprises in 2025. And get ready to rumble with the gaming gatekeepers who are flipping the script and giving the power back to the players. They're the ones that are turning the metaverse into a melting pot of ideas, a crucible of creativity, and a breeding ground for innovation. They're the ones that are empowering players to take control of their digital destinies, to build their own societies, and to shape the future of gaming. So grab your game pads and get ready to conquer the next era of gaming with Game 7, the official infrastructure of Gamified. And thank you to all of our incredible panelists for bringing the energy. I know we're all a little bit down bad. Most of us are a little bit sick, but you wouldn't know it from listening to this. You guys absolutely crushed it today. Had a ton of fun on today's episode. We'll be back same time, same place next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday and 4 p.m. Monday Eastern for Simplified. Big shout out Andromeda, Michael Christine, Project O, Kevin Lambert, Parallel, Wayfinder, Sanctuary, all the stuff, Colony from Koji, Knockin', Magic Eden, Lems and the Lizards, Jerry and Uptick, Dub and Glitter Cloud, Tony and Glitter Cloud, and Wills, of course, with none other than the official chain of Gamified, Big AVAX. Wills, it's always a pleasure. Congrats on that MVP. Kevin, you too. And Jerry, better luck next time. Hope you find some pants soon. It's been a great episode. We'll see you guys soon.